Good morning and welcome to Let's Talk Real Estate, presented by the Cisneros Realty Group at Keller Williams, servicing the New Hampshire Lakes and White Mountains regions. Today's show is sponsored by Blue Water Mortgage, Summit Title, and Allstate Insurance, the Joe Suazo office in Derry, New Hampshire. Time to join our host and Let's Talk Real Estate on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio, Lakes Region.
Good morning. My name is Karina Cisneros, Realtor with Keller Williams Lakes and Mountain Realty in Meredith, New Hampshire. Our show focuses on all aspects of real estate, and in the next 30 minutes, we'll give you important information that will help you either buying or selling your home. Today, I'm joined by Dan O'Halloran, current president of the New Hampshire Association of Realtors, and a realtor himself, head of the O'Halloran Group in New London, also covering the Sunapee region. Welcome, Dan, to our show.
Thank you so much for having me, Karina.
Phenomenal. So tell us, what is the New Hampshire Association of Realtors and what are they doing for New Hampshire residents?
It's a great question. The association is made up of over 5,500 realtors. We focus on supporting those realtors and also supporting homeownership in New Hampshire and protecting any increases in legislation that could negatively impact housing in New Hampshire.
I'm sure everybody wants to ask Dan his opinion on how's the market doing. So Dan, tell us.
The market is very entertaining. I've been doing this for coming up on 15 years, and the tightness of inventory right now and the stress that's on buyers and sellers' shoulders in trying to find the perfect house is really challenging. When I look at the stats right now, I'll do a quick highlight for you. The median sales price at the end of 2018 was $282,500. If you look back at the last peak, it was only $270,000. So we've had quite the jump.
So that's not great news, is it? I mean, we're like past the peak of the previous peak.
Yeah. The nice thing, though, rates at that time were close to 6%, and now rates are back down to the low 4s.
So you're a realtor,
Yep.
and you work with buyers and sellers. So let's take it a bit down to the consumer level. How does the shortage of market affect a buyer? And how does a shortage affect a seller?
All right. So for buyers, it's really, really important that you team up with a fantastic realtor. So I highly recommend referrals, doing your research on that realtor, making sure that they have great knowledge of the community that you are looking to move into or stay into. Oftentimes given the shortage of inventory, you could be going into a multiple offer scenario. And so understanding what that landscape is like and how to best protect yourself and make your offer the strongest possible is really, bar none, the best thing that you can do, and be upfront and frank with that realtor about your intentions.
And if you're on the selling side?
Selling side, it's hard. You got to know where you want to go. And if you don't know where you want to go, there are ways to protect yourself in a contract. However, really thinking through your next steps is very, very important.
So Dan, that would mean a seller would want to have a suitable housing contingency.
Exactly.
And how does that work?
So the seller can have a clause in their contract to provide protection for finding a suitable house after they accept an offer.
Thanks for listening this morning. This is Let's Talk Real Estate on WEEI 101.5 Sports Radio Lakes Region. Okay, Dan, so the market's tight. Buyers and sellers are having a tough time. So what happens now? What is the state or the New Hampshire Association of Realtors doing to help solve that?
So at the moment, Senate Bill 15 is a very important topic to discuss, and it's all about affordable housing. As we mentioned, with the high median sales price in our state, affordability is a big issue. The New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority has put forth a bill that will provide $10 million upon immediate approval into the New Hampshire Housing Finance Authority fund. And then each year thereafter, an additional $5 million will go into that fund.
Is this bill going to affect the transfer tax?
This bill will not affect the transfer tax, and actually I'm glad you said that. We as an association have been fighting hard to make sure that there's no increases to the transfer tax. However, that $5 million will come out of New Hampshire state transfer tax.
Perfect. Okay, it's time to take a break and hear from our sponsors. And remember, the video and podcast of all our shows are available on Let's Talk Real Estate NH.podbean.com. Thank you for listening this morning. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Real Estate after this on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region.
Buying and selling real estate is hard, but it doesn't have to be when you partner with an agent that has a proven track record of success. The Cisneros Realty Group at Keller Williams Lakes and Mountains Realty in Meredith helps you fulfill your homeownership dreams through a caring and trusting relationship. They provide exceptional service and advocate for your best interests. The Cisneros Realty Group is your trusted real estate advisor, creating a long-standing relationship now and in the future.
Hi, this is Karina Cisneros from Keller Williams Lakes and Mountain Realty in Meredith. For many years, clients have been putting their trust in me and my full service team. We dedicate ourselves to getting you the most for your home. Remember my name, Karina, like the song, Karina, Karina.
Turbocharge the sale of your home with the professionals at the Cisneros Realty Group, part of Keller Williams Lakes and Mountains, 66 Route 25, Meredith, New Hampshire. Experience and integrity you can trust. The Cisneros Realty Group, online at nhlakeshomes.com.
Put your trust in Blue Water Mortgage when you purchase your new home. Jonathan Ferrante works hard for you with premium service and integrity. Jonathan provides competitive rates and great loan programs to fit your needs. Purchasing, renovating, or refinancing, Jonathan can expertly guide you through the maze of options to find you the right mortgage for you. Blue Water Mortgage, your dedicated mortgage broker. NMLS number 1291. Jonathan Ferrante, NMLS number 1694126. Contact Jonathan directly at 813-267-4369.
This is Let's Talk Real Estate with Karina Cisneros on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region. Once again, here's Karina.
Hey, welcome back. This is Karina Cisneros. My special guest today is Dan O'Halloran. He is the current president of the New Hampshire Association of Realtors. He's also the head of the O'Halloran Group, based in New London, covering also the Sunapee region. Okay, so in a previous segment, Dan, we talk about how tight the market is.
Yep.
So let's have a little game here. You go first. Give us an example of one of your transactions with your buyers or sellers that you can share with our audience that is going to illustrate what's going on.
All right, perfect. So we had a house up in our neck of the woods, 30 minutes north of Concord, and it was priced for $185. We put it on the market, had an open house scheduled that Saturday. Going into that open house, we had 2 offers on the property. The open house had 40 people show
40
up.
people?
40 people. Cars were lined up all along the road. It was crazy.
But that's not usual, is it?
It's not normal at all.
Now, was it more of the neighborhood, the pricing, or what's going on?
I think it really boiled down to pricing. And it was a 2-bedroom home next to a major road, easy for commuting, at $185. So we ended up with a total of 7 offers on that property and had it under contract that Saturday.
Well, your sellers must have been thrilled, right?
They're very happy, yeah.
Well, okay, now it's my turn.
Yeah, go for it.
So we had a house come on the market recently in Meredith, New Hampshire. 3-bedroom home, 2-bath, very nice, very quaint. Going on the market for I think $295.
Okay.
And we posted it on Facebook and on the MLS with a delayed showing. So we told the public, hey, this property is coming on the market. And you can see it starting Saturday, where we'll have an open house. And we did that on Wednesday. To our shock and surprise, I think that afternoon, we received a sight unseen,
wow,
full price cash offer for that house.
That's crazy.
And then we got another offer, also sight unseen. Okay, so going into that weekend open house, we had already 2 offers sight unseen.
Wow,
which is completely incredible. And then during that open house, we had maybe 5 or 6 or 7 people come in with their realtors. But by then, the seller had accepted one of these sight unseen offers because it also had a time limit.
okay.
The buyer had said, I'll give you this price, sight unseen, but you got to give me an answer by this time, this day, or else I'm pulling my offer. It was a good offer. The seller took it.
Nice. That's awesome. It's very important to build those conditions in and protect yourself too.
Now, I'm glad that's not the norm.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens with an outlier of the houses. Otherwise, it's kind of like a frenzy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what other example do you want to share with us?
Sure. Pricing is really important. And so while this is a stronger seller's market, it is important to, what we've noticed, if we've ever pushed the boundary on a price, that it takes longer for a property to sell. So another house that we sold was listed for $295, and it was a log cabin. And same scenario, almost, we had 7 offers, over 40 people at the open house, and it sold for over asking price. And it was a really nice log cabin. But it also, at the end of the day, it has to appraise, and there was a little hurdles we had to jump through to get it through the final go to get to closing. But the demand is really out there under 300, is from what we're seeing in our local market.
So during our last segment, you talked about the median price,
Mm-hmm.
but what about the inventory?
Inventory is tight. New Hampshire statewide is 3 months of inventory. And when you go back to when the economy was at its absolute worst, there was 18 months of inventory.
So that's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. I haven't seen these conditions in a long time.
Thanks for listening this morning. This is Let's Talk Real Estate on WEEI 101.5 Sports Radio, Lakes Region. Okay, so we're back with Dan. So what happens now, Dan? I mean, how long can this tight market last? I've heard and read that around the country we're seeing some signs of maybe slowing down. Is there anything you can tell us about what you guys are seeing at the New Hampshire Association of Realtors in terms of the market in the future?
It's very hard to predict. The employment in New Hampshire is extremely strong and the best it's almost ever been. And it's very, very encouraging. But with the influx of great jobs and people, we are behind in housing starts. So affordable housing is probably the fastest and best way to help balance things out.
Are you saying the answer is in new construction?
New construction.
And are the conditions set for a healthy new construction, or is there anything that we can do as realtors or through our state government to help that?
Yep. I think as realtors and as general public, be involved in your towns and communities, go to planning board meetings, be aware of what's going on, and try to keep an open mind about helping support growth in your community and smart growth. But there are some old standards set at towns that were back when they were trying to control the market more, and being aware of what's a restrictive zoning or planning board decision that might need someone might need some extra voices to help.
Okay, and then one final question. We're realtors. We work hard. We represent our buyers and sellers. We have fiduciary relationships with them. What's the message for those who want to sell by themselves? I mean, that's an option for many sellers.
Yeah, definitely.
What would you want to say about that as the president of the Association of New Hampshire Realtors?
I would just say, do your research, look into housing. There's so much data online for someone to learn about the real estate market and how to try to go at it yourself. But you can't beat the experience of someone that has sold hundreds of houses and has been through the trenches of going through challenges and finding solutions. Phenomenal.
I agree with you. This is a very specialty that we do. We're professionals. It's time to take a break and hear from our sponsors. And remember, the video and podcast of all our shows are available on letstalkrealestatenh.podbean.com. Thank you for listening this morning. We'll be right back with more Let's Talk Real Estate after this on 101.5 WEEI Sports Radio Lakes Region.
Let's Talk Real Estate is presented by the Cisneros Realty Group and sponsored by Blue Water Mortgage, Summit Title, and Allstate Insurance, the Joe Suazo office in Derry, New Hampshire. Let's Talk Real Estate is a production of Modern Media LLC, CRG TV, and MR Strategic Alliance LLC, all rights reserved. Join us every Saturday morning at 8:30 and Let's Talk Real Estate with Karina Cisneros, Realtor, on WEEI 101.5 Sports Radio Lakes Region.